Hey everybody, welcome to an abbreviated episode of the Safe Prep Show, part 4 of 4 with Tabitha from At the Betting Courts. You guys enjoy the show. Alright, talk about bread before you blow up.
Okay, so if you want to save money, the easiest and the first thing that I would probably recommend you do is, well, I probably should say, when I learned to do something, I learned to do it the hard way, the old-fashioned way. So when I learned to make jam, I learned to make jam without pecting, which means you boil it for 30 minutes until you reach the gel stage, and then you can it. When it came to bread, I learned how to make bread the real way, and then I kept going. But the easiest way on a homestead, because people look at making bread and the kneading as a chore, and it is a chore. It is to get great bread. I mean, that is an act of love. But there is this thing called the Zojirushi bread machine, and it is the link to it is in my bio. It is absolutely amazing. It is expensive, but when you look, like at the time that I had one, my first one lasted 20 years plus. It was so old they couldn't even date my machine when I called them and told them, hey, something's broken in it. And it wasn't the fact that the machine was broken. It was the fact that the paddle was broken. And it was so old they didn't know what paddle to give me. So I had to buy a new machine. My husband took his credit card out and plopped it on the table. And he said, you buy it now. That's how much I used it. So when I go to buy something, a tool, I will look at how much it costs for me to make it and compare it to how much it costs in the store. And at that time, we were buying bread that was $5 a loaf of bread, the good, really good bread. But I could make that same exact bread in the bread machine for 67 cents. So now I have $5 loaf of bread to 67 cents. This was back when I bought the bread machine in 2015, I think is when we bought this. So I went to my husband and I told my husband, this is how I calculated how many loaves we made a week, and not even the bagels that I make or the pizza dough that it makes, or the pound cake that it makes or the sweetbreads that it makes, just the loaf of breads that we use consistently on a daily basis. And it was going to take 11 months for me to pay that bread machine off. So now I have in 11 months of and I've now had that thing for I'm going on 7 years with this thing. So it's more than paid for itself. It's more than paid for itself. So I share this with women that if you want to buy a piece of equipment, figure out how much it costs for you to make that item, because I buy in bulk, it's cheaper, and figure out how much it costs to do in the grocery store and do the price comparison. And then I went to my husband, and I always show my husband, I could buy it if I wanted to, but I like playing this game with myself. And he just laughs at me because he says, I'm going to tell you to buy it anyways.
But it's good to do, in case you have somebody that says, no, I don't think you should buy that. Now you've got the numbers to back it up. Like, it's going to pay for itself and we're going to save money.
Yeah, it now costs me about $1.50 to make bread because I'm grinding my own wheat and I'm using more of a higher quality. But I couldn't have gone to that higher quality berries, unless I was saving the money on the machine. So now I have not only increased the quality of the bread that I'm making. So this bread that I'm making would cost $8, $9 on a shelf in a store because it's artisan bread.
Yep.
It's in the same shape of a loaf. It's the oblong loaf. It is absolutely amazing. You slice it. So I take my meat slicer and I set it at number 13 or whatever. You figure out how thick of a slice you want. And after I make it, I let the bread cool. I slice it with my meat slicer. So I have all the sandwich bread slices. I put it in a Ziploc bag and I stick it in the freezer because we don't eat that much bread. But I have this bread machine that's already paid for itself. I'm now making money on it. I'm saving money in the store. I have a meat slicer that I use. I've got, what? And
that's keeping your gut healthy. Yeah.
It's keeping my gut healthy. And it's not just the bread. It's like I can literally make any flavor I want. So then I have all these books and recipes of bread making that can totally make everything. Like if I'm sick of the one sandwich bread that we make right now, I just go to the books and I find another one, or I'll add nuts to it. Or I started adding spent grains. Like my husband is a home brewer. He brings me the spent grains. I dehydrate it, or I add the whole spent grains, like a cup of it, into my bread, and it totally gives it a depth of brewed bread flavor. This amazing tasting bread that you can't buy anywhere in a store because nobody sells it.
So I made a simple white loaf. Simple.
I was excited.
Six ingredients. And let me just say, it did not last very long. My wife ate it. My child ate most of it. So.
And that's awesome. I was very proud of you. Oh, I was beaming when I saw that.
That thing's been sitting in the garage for 2 years. So I'm gonna make some more. So
yeah, well, if you get into the grating, let me know and I'll share recipes.
Give me time. One subcategory preparedness at a time. So okay, so last topic for this particular session. I've talked about this on my account as well because we talk to new preppers a lot, and everybody can come up with reasons why they think they can't do this, and they're not reasons, y'all. They're excuses, and you have to be able to realize that you're making an excuse that is preventing you from making progress and getting more prepared, becoming more self-reliant. And you have to learn to do things a different way. That's how you get around the excuse and make progress. And you said that the excuses were one of your biggest pet peeves. So I'm going to let you end it out with that and what people can do to overcome those excuses.
Well, excuses, the reason, like when I put something up, like I'm canning something and people tell me, oh, well, I can't grow a garden, so it's too expensive for me. I'm not going to can. So then if you notice, I don't really go out and say it, but then I'll go to the grocery store and I'll buy tomatoes when they're on sale and I'll come home and I'll make salsa. And then that whole entire calculation figure is used with store-bought produce. So I don't want people to make excuses. So when they do with me, I find a way around doing something. Like I'll literally go out of my way to do something where they would have no excuses. And finally, I just came right out and said it. I said, you know what? If you don't want to can, don't can. But don't expect me to pick you up when you're hungry and you can't, and you don't have any food because you didn't can anything or you didn't save anything. Because it doesn't take any effort. It just buy an extra can when you go to the grocery store. And when you have two, the next time you go to the grocery store and you would normally use one, buy two more. Now you have three on the shelf.
If you don't have money and you want to stockpile food from the grocery store, you shop at a different place. You buy different brands that are cheaper. You learn to coupon. There are ways around.
Go to the food pantry.
Yes, there are ways around your excuses, and like she said.
So
go ahead.
No, here's the thing. I have a friend that runs the food pantry here locally. And she's telling me, like a year ago, she was telling me they can't get people to come in and take the produce. So farmers are donating produce to these food pantries and the produce is going bad. And I'm like screaming, how do I ask for all that produce so I can can it? You know, that's what's on my brain, right? So what's on my brain? But I don't want to take food from the food pantry because somebody could be walking in and needs it, right?
Yep.
I shop the sales. I literally shop buy in bulk, and I have reduced my cost so much that we can now start eating better because we have more here, right? So I've done that intentionally, and it has taken me 13 years to get here. So it's hard. But if you are just starting out, go to the food pantry and take what they're giving you. And you can, that fresh produce that they're handing you out at the food pantry, even if you say you can't eat it, like, oh, you're gluten intolerant or something, and they're handing you something that has gluten in it, take it, because you can turn around and share that with somebody else that can eat it. Like, there is no excuse. So if there's a sale at the grocery store and you have the ability to buy it and you may not eat that and it stores for a long time, buy it, because you can turn around and share that with somebody else or barter it for something. Like, I have a girlfriend that's on WIC. And she's messaging me and she says, well, all they have is cheese and we don't eat cheese. And they're telling me I have to have this kind of cheese and we don't eat that. Okay, cheese saves for a very long time if you store it properly. I know, I live in cheese country. So I told her, I said, you should just take it and find a family that needs the cheese and may not want some other product that they're handing out and that could trade for you. And then now she has a really cool bartering system going on.
I
Sorry.
tell people that it is. Everybody's in a different spot. We got brand new preppers, which is an audience that I love talking to. A lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones that can come up with the excuses the easiest. Um, she's done this for 13 plus years. She's really done it her whole life. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
she's done this her whole life, and she's at a certain level. So when you're at the beginning of preparedness and you really don't have anything, you don't have supplies, a stockpile, skills, or knowledge, it looks very overwhelming and daunting. And it's almost easier to come up with excuses at that point than it is to do some work. Get you a few things in the house, y'all. Just get a few things in the house, and then you'll start to feel better about preparedness and where you're at on the timeline, and you'll stop making so many excuses. Or at least when you come up with an excuse, you'll go, well, I shouldn't let that stop me from doing this. What can I do to fix that excuse? But it takes time, it takes effort, it takes grit. But if you do it
You
right,
get
you're
so
not
much.
scared, you're not anxious, you're having fun. You're taking care of your family. You're learning things. It's a hobby. You meet people on social media that have the same interests that you do, and it's just
Yes.
it's fun. It's fun for me. What do you have to end it with there, Tabitha? We've covered so much. Actually, I think we covered everything in your email.
Nope. Well, we haven't covered everything. I mean, oh my gosh, there's so much. I could go on forever. It's a
You'll be
passionate
back. You'll
conversation for
so
me.
be back. And now that now
I
that
love
we've
that.
now that we've recorded, like I and we're still friends. I feel like we could go live together on a podcast one night too, and just all natural.
Hey, that would be fun on TikTok. That would be fun. That would be fun. No, TikTok for me. My daughter asked if I would come on because she thought I originally was coming on to make funny little dance videos. Like if there's anybody in Tillamook County or Lincoln County that like wants to make funny dance videos with me, like I'd love to, female. I'd love to hook up and just make funny dance videos, right? Every once in a while. But no, I came on TikTok just because I wanted to find uh, people to share life with, because the people in my community here actually think I'm crazy, and that's probably fine. I probably am. It's okay. I'm good with that. I eat very well, um, and I love sharing the things that I'm doing on the community. And somebody like making bone meal, who knew that you could grind your bones down? Like you're buying a bag of bone meal, and every time I go to buy something, I'm looking at it going, I wonder if I could make this. Like, I wonder how you make this. And then I turn around and research it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have been throwing all this beef fat away for years. And literally, you pay $8 to $16 a pound on Amazon for this stuff. And I can make it for like, what, 27 cents or 51 cents a pound. I'm like, I'm throwing a ton of food. We throw so
Yeah,
much money away every day that if we just take one thing, like, yeah, it's daunting. My whole entire world, if somebody was to come in and look at it, what I do is daunting. Because once I adopt something into my
yeah,
world, I do not get rid of it. I keep it and I keep doing it. So I make homemade bread. I do not buy baked bread anymore. I make tortillas. I do not buy tortillas in the store, period.
yeah,
But it seems daunting, but just take one thing at a time. Like one item. Look at your trash and try and figure out how you can reduce it. Because all that stuff that you're throwing away could become money in the future for you to actually eat. So look at the things that you grow or garden space in your garden. Could I plant a few high ticket items like a pepper plant here or a pepper plant there? I was busy building the seed check all year. I didn't water my vegetables. And we got a ton of peppers. I've never had that many peppers before. So what do I need to do next year? I need to plant peppers and not water them.
right. Well, and
Right?
you're ticked. Social media is hard, and every platform's different. But you're pretty open. I'm an open book as well, and we do much more than preparedness on my account, and so do you. So I want to encourage everybody to be sure that you're following Tabitha at the Betting Courts on all. Let's see if I got Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest. Did I get all the social media platforms? I think I got them all.
TikTok. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to start Rumble pretty soon here. So yeah.
I got you.
Oh, and I'm also on Gab.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Oh, Gab.com is fun.
But once again, I'm going to drop Tabitha's links down in the description on this, so you guys can click on that one main link and find all of her stuff. Be sure you give her a follow on all of her social media platforms. I had a blast. I learned a bunch, and as I suspected, I think we can honestly never run out of things to talk about. So you'll be back.
I would love that. As long as you continue making bread.
I will. I've been thinking about making something different, something other than white. We'll give it a try. So, and figure out what you want me to interview your husband about, because I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
You want to interview him?
But it has been a pleasure. You guys be sure you check her links and follow her on all of her social media platforms. She's awesome at what she does. She's excited. She's passionate. She's funny, and has a lot to teach you guys. So thank you again for being here. I'll let you tell everybody bye, and then we'll sign off.
Thank you for having me. Bye, you guys. Have a great day and do something new and different.
Guys, be sure you check out at the Betting Courts. Subscribe and follow to her on all of her social media platforms. Here is her website. It is also linked down in the description, so please go check out all the links and resources that Tabitha has to offer. That's it for us until after the holiday season. We will see you in 2023. And from the Safe Prep family, from my family to yours, happy holidays and Merry Christmas.